Welcome, everyone. I'm Rahavan Raman. I go by Ra. I manage the enterprise data platform for ZScaler.
Hey everyone, this is Rishi Varahagiri, and I'm a senior data engineer at ZScaler.
Those who don't know ZScaler, ZScaler is a cybersecurity company which makes the exchange of information seamless and secure. We pioneered the zero trust architecture, and we offer the most comprehensive platform that protects thousands of customers from cyber attacks and data loss. So what do we do at ZScaler? Right? So we exist to build a best-in-class data and AI organization that enable all our internal business functions like finance, sales, marketing, people and culture, you name it, literally everyone in our organization to be data-driven. Right? So our tech stack is, like you can see that we use Matillion for ETL and reverse ETL, dbt for transformation, Snowflake is our warehouse engine, Tableau and Streamlit is our BI tool. Right? So anything else we do, self-hosting, all present in AWS Cloud. Okay. So let me share some background on how we started and evolved in our journey. Right? So we were a central data team. So basically, every request that is in terms of data, our team is responsible for doing it. Right? So you could imagine we are supporting every business function. It's kind of overwhelming. Right? Obviously, presented with the challenges you could see there, like around efficiency, adoption, trust, and scalability. Right? But what did we do? We did almost every successful data team here did. We adopted the mesh architecture. Right? So we became from being a central team to a center of enablement team. So now the central team provides a good platform for foundational analytics. We enable the self-service for domain users to develop their pipelines. And like the last thing, federated governance, right? We got to the next slide. All right, so we'll go to the next slide. This is how, okay, who's doing that? This is how our foundation looked like after dbt implementation and adoption of mesh implementation, right? So basically, you could see the brown block down there, which is very nice. You're not able to see. You don't have permission to see. Can we get rid of this, please? All right. You see the brown, if you're not able to see, the brown block is down there, right? So basically, what we do as a central team is we started pulling the data from all the places, and then you could see a Matillion architecture. We don't like silver, gold, all the stuff, so we named it raw, transform, and analytics. So our team will build the foundational analytics. After that, we have the domain team, which takes over from there to build any of their analytical transformations in their own mods. And the data teams, the central team's role become more like an advisory and the governance side of it. So basically, the domain teams consult with us for the design solutions, as well as we want to make sure that we're being very consistent and everyone follows the best practice. So every PR is reviewed by the central data team. Okay, so I think everyone must have been here by this time, right? We also thought this is our happily ever after. I will let that sit for a second, right? We also thought another thing, we built actually a self-service paradise. Trust me, we were really excited. But turns out, what we did was just building a help desk for PR reviews and explaining people why you should do this in the model or why you shouldn't do this in this model. Right? So enabling self-service can be a double-edged sword. Okay? As the adoption grows, so as the number of PRs. Right? Turns out, governance still need human reviews. How many of you here have done the PR reviews or doing the PR reviews? Wow, it's almost everyone. So you are definitely going to know about the pain points which I'm going to talk about. Right? So reviews are manually done. It still takes quite a bit of time. Okay, especially when you are not building the pipelines, you really need to understand what's going on. At the same time, you need to make sure that the best practices are followed. Hey, that guy added the audit columns or source freshness, quality checks, et cetera, right? And the other thing is, there are things which are growing in a very fast-paced way in the data world. So you need to constantly educate your stakeholders, in this folks, the domain analyst, on like, hey, how to do certain things in an effective way. Okay. Ultimately, what happened for my team is it caused a review fatigue, right? So what can we do about it? There was a time when you turn to the smartest person in the room when you have challenges for help, okay? But it's 2025, right? What do? You ask AI. So that's what we did. And actually, AI can help us to automate governance. It can reduce the review burden. It can also, more importantly, help to educate the contributors. Okay? So, at the same time, AI is not just a switch, like, oh yeah, hey, we want you to do the review. I don't know if some of you guys tried it. You could ask any tool in the market, just, hey, do a review. You know, it's okay job. It's not like it's going to understand all the things that you have in your system, or it doesn't understand all the business context around you, right? So what do you need to be successful, right? Surprise or not surprise, context, right? AI without context is just noisy, okay? Originally, I planned to give like a very good analogy, couple of slides on like, hey, how context is important, but I'm really going to skip this because it's day 3. I'm pretty sure for all these 3 days you heard like how context is actually making AI smarter. Okay, so I'll skip this part, but Rishi, can you tell me how we can get better context for our use case?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ram. Well, that's true. You know, AI without context, it would only yield suboptimal suggestions. But if you provide a right context to the AI, it will really provide you with targeted improvements. So now let's see how dbt can help us to set that context, for the AI to fetch really improved targeted, suggestions. Well, firstly, we have got dbt discovery APIs. Well, the dbt discovery APIs, they expose the downstream lineage for all the models that you are working in the PR. So this establishes the dependency context for the AI while providing the suggestions. And next step, we have got dbt CI jobs. Well, the dbt CI jobs, So the dbt CI jobs automatically validates the user changes when we raise a pull request. And these CI models serve as a baseline for recommending optimizations. And from these runs, we can retrieve the model details such as execution time, and the byte scan, the partition scan, whatever, you name it. And all these details are really useful for the AI to provide targeted suggestions. And next, we have got dbt cloud APIs. Well, dbt actually provides with a suite of APIs which can be used to validate and compile whatever changes AI is suggesting. And lastly, we have got query insights from our warehouse. These query insights and query operator statistics reveal how much, how our queries are executing and how much time each query and resources are spent. So this information really serves as a good context to the AI to provide more targeted and performance recommendations.
Full disclosure, guys, we tried this before dbt MCP, okay? And dbt MCP even came in when we were trying to revisit the solution like a month or 2 ago. It was just only 5 tools, okay? Today I heard a lot of good things, like 20 tools around there. And all these things that we are trying to do with these different APIs, we could simply substitute dbt MCP, okay? All right, so now that we understood how we can get a good context and take advantage of AI, let me introduce you to Prism, okay? Prism is just a fancy name that just we name it. Just bear in mind, it's just an internal tool, an AI-powered tool that we built to make the code reviews for dbt models in a smarter, faster, and a consistent way, okay? So it stands for PR Review Intelligent System Enter, okay? This also we ask ChatGPT, just another thing, okay? So what does it do? The core capabilities, number 1, it makes sure that every PR aligns with the best practices, okay? It's not some general best practices, it's actually referring to the best practices that we have documented or we follow in our ecosystem, okay? Second, it provides the optimization. The optimization is not like, hey, I got this query, I'm going to copy paste it in ChatGPT or whatever, Claude, Gemini, whatever you use, and then tune it or say something. It will throw some results. But it's very generic. It's not going to work. So again, the key thing that we are doing is it's a data-driven insight. The optimization is based on the data-driven insights. That is, we harness the power of CA job execution, and also all the queries which is run by the CA job, we go to the Snowflake query execution plan, and we take things from there. Okay. 3, we are not just giving optimization. Hey, can you go and do it? These are the things that you could do to your code. We are actually providing a refactored code. And this refactored code is fully tested. It's tested before and after comparison results have been matched, and then it shares this information. Okay? So the next one is change intelligence. You could get, hey, what are the downstream models which get impacted? That's pretty easy. DBT itself gives that information. But what we do here is we go one step further to get all the dashboards that got impacted as well, so that the reviewers can actually make a very well-informed decision. Okay? So last one, we really want to encourage people who follow best practices. Okay? We really want to incentivize them. So what we did is, we have this auto-approval feature. Any PR which follow the best practice and the CA check passed, no optimization is needed. We auto-approve the PR and pray to God nothing breaks. Okay? So now let's take a look at how it all comes together inside Prism. Right? So everything starts here. You could see on the left, as soon as a pull request is submitted by the developer, right? So the the context collection process starts. Okay? So as Rishi explained, we pull the context from the file which got changed, and DBT CA job execution, query execution insights from Snowflake plan. Right? All these things we do. For some reason, if the CA job fails, we'll just stop there. We won't even go any further. Okay, it doesn't make sense. Okay, but once all the context is assembled, you see the big, beautiful layer in the middle. That's our LangGraph-based multi-agent orchestrator. It takes over. Right? So here, each agent is specialized and does a very specific task. Okay, I'll start from left. Number 1, linter agent. It checks for the code, basically a structural aspect of the code, right? So naming conventions is as simple as that, or SQL file and Python file formatting, right? Folder structure, all those things it will check to make sure that it's up to our standards. 2, governor agent, right? It makes sure that the model complies with the documentation policies, tags, metadata, like assignment of owner groups, etc. Right? Number 3, impact analyzer agent. I think I talked about in the last slide. It basically shares the downstream impact of models plus dashboards that are because of the changes that is made in the PR. Okay? So the next 3 you see there, optimizer, tester, and self-healer, they kind of work as a group. So the role of optimizer is to actually provide a refactored SQL. Okay? But it refactors the SQL which are long-running and which are only needed, it refactors it. So when we refactor it, I think I told you that, hey, we want to make sure that we are giving a best result back to the developer, right? So what it does is, once it's refactored the code, the tester agent will take over. So it will make sure that it compares the before and after query result it compares it and make sure that everything is good. For some reason, if there is any error in the code generator, or if the results are not matching, it works with the self-healer agent and corrects it. It tries to do it at least few times before going to the developer, so that we want to absolutely make sure the code that we are producing as a refactored code actually works, and then it works as per the logic which developer intend to write. Right? So finally, at the bottom, you will see the audit and log tables. It basically captures every action that is happening in this whole process, or the communication between each agents. Everything is captured. This is mainly for a few purposes of, like, 1, observability, right? 2, like, I don't know how you guys, my boss asks me frequently, like, hey, we adopt AI, how are we tracking and what's happening there? So we want to make sure that we are tracking a good metrics. So for tracking the metrics standpoint, we are using that log tables. 3, also this actually serves as a memory for the whole agent aspect of it. That is, there are times genuinely you will make changes to the PR multiple times. Like whenever that happens, you don't really need to run your agent to make sure that you are optimizing the code again and again, things like that. So it actually helps to serve as a memory as well. Okay? So you will see it produces the results, everything in GitHub comments. Whatever the results produces are towards all the right. It's basically first the formatted files, 2, the best practices check, make sure that everything is aligned, 3, the optimization insights, as well as the refactored code. All the developer needs to do in this case is just accept as a comment, and then it will get committed to the branch. Okay? So enough of me talking. Let's see this in action. Let's see the demo, Rishi.
Sure. Cool. Thanks, Ra. All right, so we have heard a lot about why we built Prism, but now let's see it in action. And as we go through this demo, pay attention like how much back and forth communication is reduced between the reviewers and developers. And all thanks to Prism, it has automated all the tedious processes which once used to take a lot of time. So once a developer submits a pull request, right, we have got like 2 checks running. One, the dbt CI check. So this ensures the model runs successfully end to end. Second, we have got the Prism check. Well, this one is special. It validates the model against our established best practices. And second, it optimizes the code wherever it is required. And once these checks are complete, Prism would automatically post the review comments directly to the pull request. Well, great. So as you can see, the checks are now complete. So let's see what Prism has posted to the pull request. Well, first up, we have got linter agent. Well, I'm not sure about you guys, but I kind of get twitchy whenever I'm seeing some unformatted code. Okay, so and Prism gets it too. So what we are trying to do here is the linter agent automatically formats the code that is already not formatted, and it provides the comments to the developer to see which codes or which models are formatted using this. So this actually helps to keep the repo clean and consistent. Cool. So next up, we have got governor agent. As we said in the earlier slides, it validates the model for the things like proper documentation, data quality tests, freshness checks, and the other DBT standards that we have established. In this specific example, as you can see, it detected a documentation. It detected that the documentation was missing on a particular column, and it flagged it to the developer. And it also noticed that a source freshness check was missing on a particular source. So this is really crucial, to ensure that we are working with the right data and which is up to date as well. So now the developers can actually look at these comments and take necessary action without actually waiting for the reviewer comments to post it. Cool. So now let's look at the optimizer agent. Well, this is where Prism really shines. Over here, it reviewed the SQL logic, it found the optimization opportunities, and it even rewrote the parts of the query for the better performance. There are like multiple scenarios which we could encounter during the optimization. So let's go through the Prism in each scenario. Well, the scenario 1, the happy path. In this case, you can see there's a 30% improvement in the runtime with the full transparency into what has changed and why it has changed it. Please note that this is a fully vetted code with before and after run results of the optimization. So the developer can now feel confident to adopt this refactored code. And to ease the developer experience, we have added a functionality in Prism, which allows the developers to auto-merge this particular optimized code directly into the developer's branch. Let's look at that. Yeah. So over here, so once the developer replies accept to this particular comment, all the changes which the Prism has proposed are directly fetched into the developer's branch. So the developer doesn't really have to manually take the code and copy into their branches. So what happens is there is no more manual tweaking, no long review cycles, just smart and explainable code. And now for the scenario 2, the smart skipping. So in this case, as you can see, Prism is smart enough to know when not to act. For instance, in this model is like running under a minute, and it doesn't really need an optimization. So Prism simply skips it. It's simple models, as you know, the simple models doesn't really benefit from, the long performance tuning. And now to the scenario 3, the graceful fallback. Of course, AI can also make mistakes. So even with all the right context, there can be some models which are like, too complex, which has got like, ambiguous logic. So when that happens, Prism doesn't want to share any suboptimal code. What it does instead is it adds a targeted review comments on a specific sections where it has struggled, so the developers now know like where to focus. So now as you can see, the AI is kind of doing most of the heavy lifting here, but it also keeps human in the loop. And lastly, we have got the impact analyzer. This one actually builds the transparency to the entire data ecosystem. It automatically maps the downstream lineage, showing where each model is like feeding into, like the dashboards, metrics, and other models. It even annotates the PR with exposure details. If something breaks down later, the team instantly knows which dashboard was affected by this particular PR and who made the change, so they can take a corrective action. So that's it, guys. So this is Prism in action. With Prism, what we have done is we have turned the manual, error-prone, and slow process for reviewing the PRs into a smart, actionable, and scalable workflow. Over to you, Ra.
Thank you, Rishi. Right. So for my fellow data nerds, right, who are wondering, what is actually the business impact? You did all these things. What does it mean, right? So here are the stats. 1, efficiency. Right now, with Prism, we are able to reduce the reviewer's time up to 90%, right? And we are actually estimating 900 to 1,000 PRs per quarter. So what you see on the screen, the second one, the adoption part, we actually had 956 PRs reviewed in Q4 alone, in our last quarter, okay? The last one is the time savings, right? Even if I put like easily 30 minutes for a PR, which is a bare minimum, right? We are able to project 2,100 hours of savings per year, which is actually a full-time effort of an engineer, right? So I will leave you all with one thought, right? We are starting to see a shift in AI where AI is just not a tool. It's more a collaborator that could actually work alongside us to amplify our thinking, right? So this shift is actually turning the bottlenecks into opportunities, right? So think of AI as a strategic enabler. All good. Thank you all for attending. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.